the mighty Sucram. We're back for our third to last episode. 2 more episodes left. We got next week, and then we have the draft week. The day of the draft will be the season finale. The draft's coming up, Gil. 3 weeks away. But first, I have a little video from the Washington Capitals because a certain player Monday night announced his retirement. Let's play it.
Oshie off the head fake to the backhand and scores! To the interior, bullseye! TJ Oshie nicely able to get by! He scores!
I didn't know much about Oshie before. A guy like that, it doesn't take too long to see his true colors and how incredible he is.
I mean, obviously, I knew what happened in Sochi. But I found out pretty quickly when he got here what kind of person he was. So
inside, Oshie fires, he scores! TJ Oshie.
17 seconds, that's all it took. His first Capitals goal.
Great hockey player, awesome guy, lots of energy.
He just has so much drive and passion and so much compete in him that it's crazy.
He genuinely really cares about the people around him. He just makes coming to the rink and playing for the Capitals a better place to be.
I'm ready. Are you?
Beautiful. He's a guy who brings energy, laugh, jokes, always creates something funny.
So good.
And it's Ben to Kuznetsov, save, rebound, score! Oshie! Washington Capitals, Stanley Cup champions!
He is a hockey lifer. He has just so much to give this sport and has given his entire life to it. He will be a positive ambassador in whatever facet that looks like.
They score! Capitals win in overtime! TJ Oshie! TJ Oshie shooting and he scores! Oh, what a dazzling goal from TJ Oshie! TJ Oshie with the hat trick as Coach Jones looks on from heaven! The forehand, he scores!
All right. So, TJ Oshie officially announces his retirement. A guy that universally is loved. Not even Penguins fans can hate him.
Unless your name is Kyle DeShaw.
What a douchebag. NHL posted this on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, and it's been nothing but love comments for TJ Oshie. And Gil, give us your favorite moment of TJ Oshie, especially as a Capital.
Oh, wow. So many of them. I don't know if I have a favorite. They're just too many. But the one right now, the one that comes to my mind is the goal against Pittsburgh. It was a regular season game where I don't know if he fell or got tripped, but he ended up sliding on the ice for about, I want to say 20 feet, and he still managed to score a goal. That's definitely up there.
I don't remember that, but that sounds like it was amazing. Jared?
The one that comes to my mind is his first game after his dad passed away when he got that hat trick.
Oh, yeah.
That was a big one. But I'm going to, not trying to overshadow both of you, but obviously the favorite moment has to be his interview after they win the Stanley Cup. how his dad had he just said his dad was just announced with Alzheimer's disease, and he said he's not gonna fucking forget this moment. That is my favorite moment for TJ Oshie. That right there, it shows you that he's just a guy you can't hate, and people.
They were both emotional wrecks on the ice.
Yes, they were, and he'll be forever known for as a Washington Capital, but we can't argue the fact that he was a St. Louis Blues draft pick first. And you also got to give Brian McClellan credit for what he did in 2015 after we lost to the New York Rangers in Game 7. He pulled an audible and traded two of our better players and a good prospect in Zach. Is it Zach Sanford? Sanford? Yeah, Zach Sanford. And Troy Brouwer to the St. Louis Blues. Troy Brouwer, who was nothing but clutch for us, especially in the playoffs. We got TJ Oshie, and TJ Oshie ultimately led us to win a Stanley Cup. And I will give nothing but credit. I will give nothing but love towards TJ Oshie for this franchise, because he has done nothing but brought great memories for us, especially during the Stanley Cup final when him and Tom Wilson decided to ride the train with the fans. You don't see that much in any other sport. You don't even see that much in any other hockey teams, which this is why the Capitals Stanley Cup run in 2018 is so special, because they made that Stanley Cup win not just for them, but for the fans as a whole. So yes, TJ Oshie, we kind of knew this was going to happen. TJ Oshie has only played a minimum, I think, 30 games in the last 3 years, because he's been out hurt. And I said this last year in Game 4. You could tell he was done. He took too much time on the ice, taking it all in, and right there and then I knew he was going to retire. But the Capitals did the honorable thing, leaving him on LITR that way he can finish out his contract and get the money that he deserves. So again, thank you, TJ Oshie, for the tremendous years you've been as a Capital. We wish you nothing but luck into your life in retirement, which has already started off with a bang, because he is part of the ESPN crew, which they desperately need a guy like TJ Oshie on there, because half the time the other people on there don't know what the fuck they're talking about. So TJ Oshie, I think going forward, will be a sports analyst for ESPN, at least for the rest of the season. Which, speaking of the NHL, the Stanley Cup Finals going on right now, Gil, and it's not looking good for the Edmonton Oilers. It's not looking good for them Oilers. They're lucky they even won a game in this series.
Huh?
This could be 3-0 if Florida didn't play the not to lose style in Game 1.
I have it turned off.
Florida played a full 60-minute game in Game 3, and I said this in your podcast's chat. I said Edmonton is lucky for this series to be 2-1, because Florida has just taken their foot off the gas in both third periods in Game 1 and 2. It didn't come back to bite him in the ass in Game 2, but it did bite him in the ass in Game 1. Florida looks like they learned, and if Florida wins tomorrow night, I think it's over. I want Edmonton to turn this series around, but I just from start to finish, it just feels like Florida's been the better team, and it just feels like Florida's gonna repeat. And you know what? I wouldn't be shocked, because this Florida team's that damn good. It's just that damn good. So you can't really look at this and say, well, Edmonton failed. No, they're just playing a team that's been on the best team in the last 3 years. They just ran into a very good Vegas team that finally was healthy, and they had Jack Eichel firing on all cylinders. But, yeah, go, Gil.
Well, yeah, all of that is true. However, there's another whole dimension to that. There's another whole side to this thing. And I think if Edmonton can find it within themselves, everybody, and I mean everybody, on that team to be a lot more disciplined, and just simply stick to their game, I think they can turn it around and make a series out of it. And I'll tell you what, even if they do lose tomorrow, I still don't think it's guaranteed that it's over. We saw what happened last year.
Yeah, I'll give you that, but the only difference is last year Florida they dominated so much in the first 3 games. They just kind of took the foot off the gas. I don't see Florida doing it this year. If they go up 3-1, I think they finish it in Game 5. That Florida has too many. They have too many more new faces that aren't gonna do what they did last year. Brad Marchand alone isn't gonna let that shit happen. Brad Marchand and Sam Bennett are the 2 odd favorites to win the Conn Smythe if Florida wins it. Sam Bennett alone is probably going to win it because he leads the playoffs in goals. So it just I was expecting this to be like a back and forth series. I thought Edmonton looked good to start the first game, like they were coming out hot, but then after they scored that first goal, then they Sam Bennett came in, scored. They challenged it, but clearly wasn't goalie interference because he was tripped. And they just stopped playing their game until the second, late in the third period. But that was because Florida took their foot off the gas. And I said that in Game 2. I said Florida, they're doing it again in the third period. But Florida would find a way to win in overtime, which is what champions do. And then they found their game Monday night. They dominated from start to finish. It just felt like it was Florida's control. Like, it didn't feel like Edmonton was even going to come back. Like, they did score to make it 2-1, Corey Perry, but like minutes later, Florida scores 2 goals in a row to make it 4-1. So this feels like this Florida team feels a lot like the Tampa Bay team, but in reverse. Tampa Bay dominated their first 2 years, and they were just ran out of gas their third year. It feels like Florida ran out of gas against Vegas, but they're firing on all cylinders right now these last 2 seasons. And I'll tell you one thing, Bobrovsky looked amazing in Game 3 compared to Games 1 and 2. He gave up some questionable goals, especially that second goal to Victor Arvidsson, which also gave Edmonton a little bit more momentum going into the third period when he gave up that bad goal. If Florida goes in that period 3-1, I think this is 3-0. I think the series is 3-0. Again, Florida is 1 win away from going back-to-back. But like you said, if Edmonton finds a way to win tomorrow, I think we're talking different. If Florida's up 3-1, it's gonna be harder for Edmonton because they're still gonna have to win a game in Florida. And Florida only has to win if they go up 3-1. They've got to win one more game, and they're the best road team right now in these playoffs. So they completely took away the home crowd from Edmonton. They played Edmonton very well in these first 2 games. So we'll see what happens. Game 4 is tomorrow. Live stream for the NHL 32 Watch podcast. Hopefully tomorrow. I wasn't feeling good for Monday, but with that being said, let's get into the official 7th round mock draft for the Washington Capitals, and we'll get into a little trade simulator for the Capitals too, because Gil believes our first round pick is getting traded. So let's get into it. 7 rounders. Let's see what goes on. All right. So Schaefer goes 1, Hagens goes 3, Frondell 5. Okay. Ooh, Cameron goes to Pittsburgh. Okay. Let me see if I can get this to be full. If I get this full screen, hold on. Let me get the entire screen. There we go. Entire screen. There we go. Alright, so we're sitting at 27. Jack Nesbitt just was drafted. Okay, so the 2 guys that I think the Capitals will go after have been drafted. All right, Gil. You ready?
Okay, so you want my trade proposal because I refuse to put in a pick because the first round pick is for the Caps is number 1. It's worthless because the guy that they're going to want, I guarantee he'll be gone. Yeah, so this first pick is fucking worthless.
He just went at 26. So your point has been proven. Like, the only guy on this board that could be worth drafting is Logan Hensler, because we need a right-handed defenseman. There's Joshua Ravensbergen that we could draft a goalie, but I think we're gonna pick goalie at 37. There's.
I would rather roll the dice and see if Ravensbergen is around still in the high second round slots.
Yeah.
Than go for whatever the dregs that are left in the first round. Yeah. If we can trade this first round pick for some immediate help, that's what they got to do.
So you're saying, you want to trade the pick. All right, so Gil, I already have a trade mock draft set up for you with Minnesota. So I have Hendrix Lapierre, a first-round pick, and Peter Sikora, who I don't think is going to sign with us, going to Minnesota for Marco Rossi and their fourth-round pick.
Okay. I kind of like this. I think we can do better.
You think we can do better? All right.
I think we can do better.
Who do you think we're going to trade?
Forget Minnesota, because I'm not 100% on board with the Rossi hype.
Yeah.
Forget that.
Well, I'm just the only reason why I brought him up is because we've been linked to him the most.
I know, but I don't think he's going to help us all that much.
No. Okay. All right. So who do you have? Who do you want to trade with?
Okay. I want to trade with Dallas, and no, I don't think it'll be just the first round pick, so we're going to have to throw in a lot more, but I want to go after Jason Robertson.
Oh. You want that $7.7 million contract?
Well, I said this on Sports on the Hill a few days ago. Ovi ain't getting any younger. Them 40 goals has got to come from somewhere.
Yeah.
Even if he doesn't drop off, he's going to retire after next year. All of those goals have to come from somewhere. And Protas is improving. McMichael's improving. Everybody's improving. But
hold on, I'll be right back. I got to let the dog in.
Well, that begs the question, who let the dog out?
Questions that are not supposed to be asked.
So you want Jason Robertson, I'm assuming, for the first round pick, and then probably a couple players and maybe another pick.
Probably, yeah. Okay. That's probably what it's going to take. At least 2 picks and at least one other player.
So you want us to send potentially 2 first rounders this year's and next year's?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. So it doesn't give me the option to do that, but we'll just pretend we're doing that. Okay. So
if they gotta, or if the simulator will let you, maybe throw into this year's second rounder. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that, but
I would not, and I don't think the Capitals are willing to do that. I think they're
for the sake of the simulator allowing it.
Yeah, for the sake of the simulator, we'll do it, but I don't think the Capitals and Chris Patrick are going to, because
No, that'd be too much.
Probably the worst kept secret that we're probably going to get our first or 2 picks are going to be goalie, because we need a goalie in our system to replace Logan Thompson in 5 years, and our depth is not that. We have a lot of goalies in our system, but they're not as good. Like Clay Stevenson, by the time Thompson's contract's out, will be in his 30s. Antoine Kellers, we just signed him, but he's a 7th round pick. What's he going to do? So I have a feeling we're going to take that kid. Because that kid Jack Ivankovic just committed to Michigan, which means he's probably going to play all 4 years at Michigan. Which means by the time he comes over, Logan Thompson's going to have 1 more year left on his contract. So we have the first, the second round, and then what players are we sending the other way?
Okay, so they're probably going to want a young forward to compensate for the loss of Robertson. So probably Lapierre might be a fit. Maybe Miroshnichenko.
Give it a Miro? You think you're going to?
Maybe.
They're gonna.
We unfortunately we don't have any Finnish players.
I'm going to tell you right now, if we're going to try to trade for Jason Robertson, it's going to be in the cost of Andrew Crystal. I don't think Miro's going to get it done. I don't think they want Miro. They're going to want Crystal.
Well, we might have to package Miro and Lapierre. We might have to package them both.
So that might get us. What's it called? That might get us freaking Jason Robertson. But I have a feeling that they're gonna ask.
I mean, I hate to give up on those guys, but neither one of them have shown me a whole lot in 2-3 years. I'm sorry.
I mean, Miro has gotten better and better in the AHL, so he has the potential to be on the roster next year. But LaPierre, I'm 100% agreeing with you. He's going to be 23 this year. He hasn't really done much outside of the playoff series against the Rangers. So, I mean, I like this trade, but I think we're just giving up way too much.
Well, if we manage to hang on to Crystal,
yeah,
and Chesley, and Parasak, those guys, I think those guys are going to end up being the future core. If we don't have to give up any of those three, or Mugli for that matter, those four guys, if we manage to keep those four guys, I think it's a win.
You know they're going to ask for Leonard too.
They might ask for Leonard. Leonard would probably be a no. I would rather struggle a year and keep Leonard for the sake of his development.
They're going to want him.
Yeah, they're probably going to ask for him, but I would say, no. We'll give you all these other guys.
Well, I have another suggestion. I like what your mind is with Jason Robertson, but there's another player I wouldn't mind going after, and he might not be worth as much as Robertson, and he's also on an easier contract to deal with. Wyatt Johnston.
I
like him. I mean, how old is he though? That's the big question.
He's pretty young. He's 21, 22, I think.
22. So he just turned 22. So I think we could manage. But the thing is, are they willing to get rid of him? Are they going to trade Wyatt Johnston a future, if that's probably what's going to end up having to take Leonard, because they're not going to trade Wyatt Johnston, a guy they drafted a few years ago.
He had a pretty crappy playoffs. He had a really bad playoffs.
But how much was that because Robertson missed half of it?
Well, I get that, and I think the other half is their coach was a piece of shit.
Yeah, Peter DeVore is fucking garbage.
He's garbage. I hope he never gets another NHL job ever again.
So,
he ruined that team.
I like where you're. I like it, but I feel like there's a better trade from somewhere else. I think we could get someone better. I mean, Anaheim it's looking like Anaheim is trading for Chris Kreider, which means Trevor Zegras might be on his way.
I don't want Zegras.
No. I'm talking about he's on his. I think he might be on his way to New
the
York.
Rangers.
Yeah, which I think could be an excellent fit under Mike Sullivan. So I will give. I think if the Rangers do get Trevor Zegras, I think it works in their favor more than Chris Kreider does, because Chris Kreider is probably towards the end of his career, where Trevor Zegras just hasn't been able to get going because he's playing for such a fucking shitty franchise that they really haven't built around him. And he's only 24 too. So you put him with the New York Rangers under Mike Sullivan, I think he's going to succeed. So I want a guy. I don't want a guy like that, but I mean, I think we could get. If we're going to trade our first round pick, I love Jason Robertson. I just don't think he's a needle mover come playoff time.
And you know what? Until this year, I thought the same, but he showed me something this playoffs.
Edmonton really shut him down too. That's another thing. And Edmonton's not known for their defense. They're more of a heavy.
Their defense is a lot better than you think.
Their defense is a lot better than last year's. I'll give you that. The defense got better, but it just, I don't know if it's worth. Like I said, plus that major contract, I just don't want to put more contract, especially at least not until after next year, because that's when we get more money. We're gonna have more money off the books. This is also why I think the Capitals might just stay put in the first round and just take a player like a defenseman, a right-handed defenseman, put him in the system, and just trade their first round next year when we have even more cap space. Because you also got to remember, we got to re-sign McMichael after next year. McMichael needs a new contract. Who else needs a brand new contract? Ferravari's going to need a new contract. So, like, I don't want to put $7.7 million on the books and the cost of we're going to lose another player.
I get that, but I don't see our defense getting any better. And if their defense is going to get tightened up, then the goal production has to either stay the same or go up. And Ovi is retiring after this year. Those 30 to 40 goals are going to go away, and they have to be replaced somehow. And if they don't find a way to figure that out, they're going to lose a lot more games than they're going to win.
Yeah, I can agree with that, but I'm trying to look at some players. I mean, there's Ryan O'Reilly, but I don't think we're going to trade for that 4.5.
So I mean, we got to find, ideally, I would love to get a third line center that could score 30 to 40 goals a year, but I mean, you might as well ask for a ticket to the moon and back.
I mean, there's a lot of people want Ryan O'Reilly, but I don't want him for that $4.5 million.
Oh no! If this was 2-3 years ago, I'd have said hell yes, but he's a little too old for my liking now.
I mean, we could trade for freaking take a chance. I don't think we will though. I don't like Shane Wright. I don't like his attitude. Utah, no, there's no one on Utah I would want. I mean, maybe Schmaltz, but I don't want him for that contract. So,
somebody at, I don't know, somebody that's not worth more than $4 or $5 million that can generate at least 30 goals.
So that's why I'm also looking at potentially a player from Buffalo. I mean, there's a lot of guys on this roster that are just on a better team will produce. I mean, Tuch's contract is more manageable at 4.7.
I was just gonna look him up.
Alex Tuch, I feel like if we're gonna trade for someone, and we could probably get away with him, and he's 29, so he turns 30 next year. But I mean, he could be producible. Peterka has potential. I mean, but Peterka it's probably going to cost us more because he's younger. He plays 2 positions and he's an RFA, which means he needs a new contract. I mean, Ryan McLeod could be a guy we could steal and put on the third line. He could do wonders for us on the third line. Here's a name I'm going to throw out, especially if the Florida Panthers win the Stanley Cup. I'm going to get shit for this, but I wouldn't be opposed to signing Brad Marchand. I would not be opposed to signing Brad Marchand. I'm not joking. Like,
you know what?
Marcus, Colin would like to have a word with you.
He's 30. He's what, 35, 36, but he's producing like he's in his 20s. So,
haven't we heard though that Boston is really going to try and get him back?
Oh, he ain't going back to Boston.
After spending
That's not what you said 2 weeks ago.
I said that's their hope. Yeah, I did say 2 weeks ago that's their hope, and I think that could happen. But now that I look at it, after what he's done for the Panthers, he could re-sign with the Panthers. But I feel like if you put him on a line with Tom Wilson and Ryan Leonard, you're going to be the most hated team in the NHL. Let's just say that you're going to be the most hated team in the NHL.
Tom, you punch him, I'll lick him.
Leonard. So what it would be Tom punches, Marchand licks, Leonard slashes. There you go. You put those 3 guys on that line, it's just gonna create havoc. But like I said though, there's guys on Buffalo we could go after. McLeod, Tuck, Paterka, Jack Quinn. I mean, Quinn could be another guy we can go after.
Well, hold on. You talked about Buffalo. What do you think about Zach Benson?
Benson, the guy they just drafted?
Yeah. He's an RFA in a year.
Yeah, but I feel like Buffalo's going to want to keep him. That's why, like, the guys that I think are untouchable right now are Rasmus Dahlin, Owen Powers, Zach Benson, and the guy they drafted last year. The Finnish player, Henless. What's his name? The guy I wanted. I think those guys are on, and Devin Levi.
The goalie.
Levi.
Yes, I think those are the guys that are untouchable. Tage Thompson's also potential, but his contract is too fucking expensive. I mean, I would love...
And too freaking long.
I would love Tage Thompson. Don't get me wrong. That's a 30, 40 goal scorer on our team alone.
Well, yeah, he would do the job, but yeah, he costs about a little bit more than Robertson, actually.
He costs a little bit less than Robertson, but that's because his contract's over like 7. So Robertson is going to need a new. And that's another thing about Robertson. That's why I'm a little hesitant with him. Is he needs a new contract within the 2 years, where Tage Thompson doesn't. So Tage Thompson he's got a contract signed, and he'll be under control for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more seasons. Where Robertson only has 2 more years left on his contract, which is another reason why I'm a little hesitant in trading for him. Because like I said, if we're going to get a young guy, we're going to get a guy that's either under contract or that's not going to cost us too much. Robertson's probably going to get even more than what his contract's worth now. Which is why Dallas is looking to trade him. It's because he's probably going to make close to Mikko Rantanen money. And I don't think the Capitals are willing to pay that. At least not right now. Because remember, Gil, those 3 years of Leonard, those 3 years of Chesley, those 3 years of Ilya Protas, those 3 years of Andrew Crystal, those 3 years of Tariq Parasek are going to go by fast. And we're going to be owing these guys massive contracts. And I just don't think we're going to be able to afford them. And the 2 guys I don't want to trade right now are Crystal and Leonard. Because they have so much potential. Cole Hudson's another guy to look at. So, like I said, I think ultimately the Capitals, sitting at 27, they see a guy like Logan Hensler, who are in our original picks, you and Miguel, we had him going in the top 10. He has fallen. I talked to Sean about this in our last mock draft, that he has fallen from grace. And shout out to that idiot Anaheim Ducks fan who says apparently we don't know shit because he's just mad because I gave Anaheim Cameron Reed. You can suck a dick, all right? You can suck a dick. Logan Hensler, I think, is the pick here, Gil. If the Capitals don't trade, I think Logan Hensler's the pick because, like you said, I mean Jack Nesbitt's gone, Jack Murtaugh's gone. I mean they could go Shane Fishagi, but he doesn't play center. They need a center. If they're going to draft someone at 27 at center. I mean, they could go.
So you're thinking best player available.
Yeah.
Add to the prospect pool, and whoever they get, potentially they can flip for somebody else down the way.
Yes. I mean, like they could move Ryan Chesley, and they would still have Logan Hensler. So I think Logan Hensler's the pick here. But here's the thing. I think Jake Murtaugh is not. Fucking Nashville is not drafting 2 centers within 3 picks in the first round. So I think Jack Murtaugh will be sitting there at 27. So I think the Capitals, if they don't trade this pick, that's who they draft because he plays. We talked about this. What was it? Episode 30. We talked about he plays a similar style. The Capitals are gonna want. But I've seen a lot of freaking mock drafts that have us taking a left-handed defenseman and Sasha Boom. We're not taking a guy in a position that we don't. It's probably our least need. We have so many left-handed defensemen. It's not even funny. We can start our own team on left-handed defensemen. That's how many left-handed defenseman prospects we have in the system. So here, Gil, I think this is the pick for the Capitals, minus a trade. But if a trade does happen, I do think Jason Robinson's on the board. Marco Rossi's potentially there. Alex Tuck, maybe Paterka. But I haven't heard anything for us with Paterka. I heard a lot of teams are calling in for him. I don't think we're one of them. So, Gil, Logan Hensler will be our pick at 27. So let's see if a dumb team takes a goalie. San Jose took a goalie. The one position they don't need. So, goalies on the clock here for the Capitals at 37. I mean, like I said, probably the worst kept secret. That if the Capitals they're not trading their second round pick. They're going to use it on a goalie. I think Jack Ivankovich is the future in net for the Capitals. Me and Sean agree. The Caps, they don't, the two things they don't have in their prospect pool is, well, three. They don't have many right-handed defensemen. They don't have an elite center, and they don't have an elite goalie that's going to be the franchise goalie in the next 6-7 years. They have Logan Thompson right now under 5 years, but his contract when he ends, he'll be like, I think 35. Charlie's not going to last another year of his contract. He's probably going to get moved next year. So that leaves a glaring hole in Hershey in South Carolina. So you got to take a goalie here, Gil. You got to take goalie at 37. This is arguably the two best goalies in a long time, and Joshua Ravensbergen and Jack Ivankovich. You're not going to get another chance at a goalie like Jack.
If one of those two is available, then yes, take them. But I'm a little concerned that they will both be snapped up by then.
Yeah, that's my biggest fear, which is
why I'm not totally turned off on trading. If they make a trade, getting rid of their first and second round pick.
Yeah, but right now in this scenario, he's sitting at 37, and we're going to take him. So. I think our next pick is in the third round. I think we pick at 91. Nope, we picked 94. So there's also potential the Capitals could get more picks in this draft. So let's not take that out of the ground either, because they could end up moving a couple of players in the offseason, which I think they will. I think TVR is probably on his way out because they're going to be making room for Arario to give him a chance. So the Capitals are sitting here at 94. Their first two picks, Logan Hensler, Jack Ivankovich. Caps got to take a center here. They got to take a center. Do they go Tommy Lafreniere and get another Lafreniere in the league, or do they go Tyler Hopkins? What a name! What a name! Gail, what we thinking here?
So, another center. Or a center. Well, yeah, this draft is loaded with them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you don't get to tell.
Can't really, yeah. Well, all right.
I mean, if I'm the Capitals, I'm taking a player that's probably going to college. I would take a chance on a guy going to college.
Yeah, none of those OHL guys.
Ooh. Matthew Lacey. Hold on, let me get this one. I'm looking up on the other. Matthew Lacey. I want to see his draft profile. Oh, he's from Tonawanda. There you go, Jared. He's from New York.
Tonawanda.
So Matthew Lasing is solidifying his position as one of the junior hockey's top prospects, establishing his reputation through his combined skill, work ethic, and consistency. The 6'1", 181-pound center from Tonawanda, New York, is a top-line center for the Fargo Force in the United States Hockey League. This season, he's taken on the responsibility of leading Fargo's offense after joining them in February, contributing as a reliable two-way player. Lasing Stenny's presence and ability to perform in high-pressure moments have been vital. All right, so let's look at his potential. So he's projected to go, I'm assuming probably in the 4th round. So is he committed to a college though? That's the thing. I mean, I don't think the Capitals are going to specifically choose a player that's going to college, but I think they would prefer one that's going to college because then they don't have to worry about or the juniors. They don't have to worry about him coming right away. They can just let him do his thing, and then when the time's right, sign him. Because that's what they did with Leonard. They did that with Leonard. They're doing that with Cole Hudson. They're letting them do their thing in college. He is not signed to anyone yet. But in the World Juniors, under 18, he had 7 games, no points, which he probably didn't play much ice time. He played for the Junior Sabres. Look at that. So it doesn't seem like he's committed to any college. But, I mean, if he's sitting there, I mean, the other guy that intrigues me at 94 is Teddy Merton. Or Mutrin. So what are you feeling, Gil?
Let me see here. I'm looking through. Wait a minute. Who's the guy from Tonawanda?
That is Matthew Lansing.
Lansing. Okay. Yeah, I'm looking him up now. He could be a steal. He's ranked in the somewhere between the 140 and 200.
Yeah. It says right here.
He could be a steal.
It says right here. Well, I'm sure an NHL team will take a chance on him in this year's draft. With time and the right development, he could grow into a dependable role player in the league. So, at this point, anyone like the 3rd round, 3rd or 7th round, the Capitals aren't looking for a number 1 center. They're looking for a guy that's going to come in and be a role player, and I think that's what he gives to the Capitals. So I'm gonna take him, Matthew Lasing.
Yeah, I'll back you on that. I like what he has to offer.
All right. Our next pick is 123, which I think is our last pick in the draft. All right. So we took Logan Hensler, Ivankovic, and Matthew Lasing. I think they double dip here, or they take a winger, and we're going to take our boy. We're going to take our boy. We're going to take our boy, Gil. We're going to take our boy. We're going to take our boy. Oh, no. Was he taken? Damn it.
Well, Gil, it sounds like they're not taking your boy.
I guess not.
Moses was selected. No. Someone took those fucking bastard New Jersey Devils. Took Shamir Moses.
So the Devils got Moses.
Ironic.
That figures.
I think Capitals go winger here. They could go defense. They could go Hamilton or Reese Hamilton. But like I said, they don't need another left-handed defenseman. They could go Ethan Whitenbach. They can go Ryan Miller, not the Buffalo Sabre Ryan Miller, but Miller. I think they double dip on center. We take Teddy Mutrin at 123. I think next week we're just gonna do like trivia and shit, and maybe awards. Oh, we pick again at 155. Look at that. Here we go. 155.
155. What is that? Round 5?
Round 5, yes. At this point, it's probably just a throwaway pick. Probably a guy that's gonna play 4 flying minutes. There's a kid
If that. Or end up being a career AHL or ECHLer.
Yeah, so probably Will Sharp. I think they go defense here. I think we go another defenseman. I think we take the big kid out of WHL. Luke, love the name. Luke Veluzwak. So is that how you pronounce that name?
Wow. That's some kind of Dutch Belgian name. Vloeswijk.
He's Canadian.
Vloeswijk.
French Canadian?
Probably. I mean, let's look him up.
French Canadian playing for a team in Alberta. How do you figure that?
Let's see what he is. Let's see his heritage. He was born in Alberta, Canada.
Oh.
Calgary, Alberta, Canada. We gonna take him? Or we take the Swedish?
What's his vitals?
6'4", 201, shoots right.
Yeah, why not? Why the hell not?
I'm telling you, one of these picks is gonna be right. It's probably not gonna be the first 2 picks. It's gonna be Shamar Moses' watch. It's gonna be Shamar Moses. That's gonna be our pick. And I'm telling you, if that pick comes into existence, I'm hitting the lottery, man. I'm gonna get the lottery. I'm gonna put down like $500 down on the lottery.
It's too bad they only do the first round the first night.
Oh, that'd be great.
It'd be fun to see who he ends up with.
That would be great. Well, they do. Yeah.
Now they do the second round and everything else on the Saturday.
Yeah, day 2. They're not like football where they do football is round 1, night 1, and night 2 is 2 and 3, and then in the afternoon of day 3 is the rest. So that is all our picks. We didn't get Shamar Moses, man. I'm telling you though, if we draft him, it's over. We're winning the cup.
It's over.
We're going to win it 5 years in a row. All right, so these are all our picks, Gil. Logan Hensler, Jack Agnkovich, Matthew Lazing, Teddy Mutrin, and then Luke Vloeswijk. I don't think this is going to happen. I think, like I said, the Capitals are probably going to go. I do think goalie is at play at 37. Anything else is probably up in the air. We'll see what happens, but let's get the one last thing to wrap up episode 30. We're going to do some trades. Gil, we're going to do some trades. So let me reset it. I'm thinking we'll start off with Minnesota. We'll do Minnesota. So we're thinking, Marco Rossi, the guy we're probably going to look at for Minnesota, since he's the one that's the big one that's being targeted by close to the Capitals. Gil, how do you think we're going to do this? Get this one done.
Well, I don't want to. If it's Rossi, I don't want to pay much more than a pick and a prospect.
Okay.
Maybe a mid-round pick and a prospect that's kind of on the outs anyway. If they, yeah, I'm sorry. It's two seems like a lot. Two items seem like a lot, but I'm willing to pay that much, but not more. What do you got here? LaPierre and a 3rd round pick. Okay, that's about right. That's about right.
Fuck it. Might as well trade him back. We'll get Lapierre back for Eller. All right. So they get Lapierre. They get a 3rd round pick. Okay. Eller, I think, is gone. So Eller's gone. So we don't gotta worry about that. I do think we will see freaking move Protus to the wing. I think we'll see. Might go down. I'd probably put Olivier. We'll see Majapani gone. So this is probably what the roster is going to look like next year. Hitchkin to the right. This is probably going to be the top line. Probably going to see Ryan Leonard on the 3rd line, if not Hershey. I don't know. He'll have to play. He'll have to play really bad for him not to be on the roster. I think TVR is going to be traded. I think we're trading him. I think we're going to see Chikrin. We're probably going to see Faravari, Carlson, Chikrin, and Matt Roy. Sandin will probably pair with someone else, probably not on the roster. Probably Vincent Arario. Put Arario right there. Probably looking at potentially another trade. So TVR is going to get traded. Probably be for another pick, I would say. So who's going to need TVR the most? I don't think Colorado. Colorado could be a good fit, but Colorado needs more picks than ever. I could see a reunion with Chicago. Maybe we get a 4th round pick from Chicago. A 2026 4th round pick from Chicago. How's that sound, Gil?
Yeah, I think that works.
And then you can give TVR, put TVR back on with the Chicago Blackhawks. I think we could probably swing a pick with Buffalo 2 for Ryan McLeod if we don't get Marco Rossi. That's who I want. If we're not going to get a number 1 center, or a potential guy that's going to put up 40 points a game, Ryan McLeod's a guy I want. Or 40 goals a season. Ryan McLeod's a guy I want. I would love for him to be on Washington. But anyways, let's wrap this up. Shorter episode than last week. Last time. Next week's probably going to be even more shorter because we're only going to be goofing off for next week for more relaxed. Because the final episode's going to be a long one because we're going to be going in depth over the actual NHL draft. Because in 2 weeks, the NHL draft will be upon us. 2 Fridays from now. Gil, are you ready for the draft?
I guess I'm ready. I don't know who the hell or what the hell's going to happen. I'm not going to be disappointed if I don't see a trade, but I think they got to do something. I don't see anybody in this draft who's going to be a help, even 3 years down the road. And the goalies that they want, I'm pretty sure somebody's going to grab them before the round is over.
Like I said,
I mean, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but that's probably what's going to happen.
Like I said, if all goes according to plan, either Ravensburgen or Ivan Kovic will be sitting there at 37. But if the Capitals feel like they're not going to be, they're going to pick them at 27. So, I mean, but there's also, you're not looking at the potential, the Capitals might trade up. They might trade up in the second pick, not the first pick. They might trade up to get the goalie they want in the second round. So if both of them make it past that first round, they might trade with San Jose for that first pick in the second round to take the goalie.
Yeah, here's the thing. By the end of the night, they got to put something towards one of the 2 future problems. That's goalie, and that's replacing Ovi's 40 goals.
Yes.
If they don't do at least one of those things, it's going to be a failure.
But you're also going to look at the potential they got to replace John Carlson, too, on the right side. Are they going to be looking at that as well in this draft? Or do they have 100% confidence in Ryan Chesley? That's going to be the like I said it 3 episodes ago, the 3 biggest needs for the Capitals: goaltending, center, right-handed defenseman. They have maybe one of those locked up in Ryan Chesley. If Ryan Chesley can do what he's capable of, and I think he'll be an amazing guy on the right side, he'll be on the team in the next 2 years. 2 or 3 years. So, but my main concern right now is what are we going to do in net after Logan Thompson's contract's up? And people are like, well, we don't have to draft until then. No, you draft now to get a goalie in that position, because then if you don't draft a goalie now and then you wait until Logan Thompson's contract's up, what the hell are you going to fucking do? You're going to have a shitty goalie, a goalie on a cheap contract playing bad numbers, and you're going to really end up having to rebuild again then. This is why you draft a goalie. This is why the Capitals drafted Samsonov when Hopi was at his height. You still take a goalie when you're at your height. The only time you don't take a goalie is when the goalie is still in their early 20s. Chicago has Spencer Knight. You don't draft a goalie. San Jose has a Sucram. You don't draft a goalie. This is why I find it hilarious that these mock drafts have Chicago and San Jose going goalie when they don't need a fucking goalie in their system. Columbus is another team that doesn't need a goalie. They drafted a goalie last year, and they have Greaves. They have Greaves already in their system. So the Capitals, there's 3 things that are going to happen. They draft a goalie with their 27th pick, they draft a goalie with their 37th pick, or they don't draft a goalie at all, and they look at Nicholas Kemp as a potential guy going forward in the future. I don't think that third option is going to be reliable. He looked so bad with the amount of ice time he got with Notre Dame. I just don't think he's gonna be the future in that. I could be proven wrong. I mean, he's only 19 years old. Goalies don't develop until they're 22, and if you're not in the league by 24, there's a likelihood you're not going to be an elite franchise goalie in the NHL. Which people are like, well, Clay Stevenson's like, Clay Stevenson's going to be 30. By the time he'll be in his 30s, by the time Thompson's over with. We don't need a 30-year-old goalie. We need a 20-year-old goalie. We need someone in their 20s when Thompson's done. Because this team is getting younger. We're shedding even more. Next year, Ovi's gone. Carlson's gone. TVR's gone. The oldest guy in this roster is probably going to be Tom Wilson at 32. People need to understand this. The team needs to get younger, not older. We're not ready to get older yet. When we're cup contenders, that's when we bring in some veteranship. Now, I did say earlier I want Brad Marchand, but that's only because Brad Marchand is playing like he's in his 20s. That's the only guy in his late 30s that I want to sign. Outside of that, I don't want anyone else. I don't want Chris Kreider. I don't want any of those fuckers that are in their 30s that are not producing. But anyways, thank you guys. That's all the time we have for this week. We'll see you guys for next week's episode 32. 2 more episodes remaining. We got next week's episode, and then we have Friday's episode. So episode 33 will be on Friday, not Wednesday, Friday, because it'll be after the draft. We're having a draft party. We're gonna record it after the draft. Do a really quick recording. Talk about the draft, and hopefully have more people this year than last year. So, anyways, Gil, pleasure having you on again. Jared, welcome back. C4 couldn't make it tonight. She's got her banquet. She's the new cross country head coach of her school. So shout out to her. Caps on 3.
Let's do it.
All right, 1, 2, 3. Let's go, Caps.
Go, Caps.
Hold me close till I get out.